Most people walk through life like sleepwalkers, trapped in a world they think is solid, fixed, and eternal. They call it reality, but what they're actually living in is a projection, a mirror image of their own consciousness, slowed down to the density we call the third dimension. The feeling world isn't the prison they think it is, it's the training ground. It's consciousness made visible. Every challenge, every obstacle, every so called limitation is a reflection of the patterns still active within. But when you forget that, you start obeying your own reflection. That's how the trap works. You see your circumstances and think they define you. You see time, you see money, your status as forces that control you. But they're just effects, expressions of your state of being. You're not in the world is in you. To awaken is to stop negotiating with the mirror. It's to realize that the outer world is not the source of power, it's the evidence of it. The universe isn't testing you, it's echoing you.
Exactly. And that's the key. The 3D illusion isn't evil or broken, it's just misunderstood. The physical world is consciousness moving in slow motion. It's energy condensed into form so that you can see what you believe. Think about it. Two people can walk the same street. One sees beauty and possibility. The other sees chaos and decay. They occupy the same geography, but not the same universe. Why? Because perception is creation. Your 3D reality isn't objective. It's a personalized broadcast tuned to the frequency of your assumptions. That's why you can't just fix the outer world by forcing it to change. You have to change the station you're tuned to. And the tuner is your consciousness. You're not a small being living in a massive world. You are the field in which the world appears. Once you grasp that, you stop reacting and you get down to creating.
And that's when you begin to see that the rules of 3D, time scarcity, cause and effect, are not laws. They're agreements. They're the result of collective consciousness, the shared script that humanity keeps performing because no one remembers they're the writers. When enough people awaken to their authorship, the collective field shifts. History changes, paradigms collapse. What once looked like magic becomes the new normal. You don't need permission to transcend the 3D illusion. You just need awareness. You see, awakening isn't about escaping the physical world or rejecting it. It's about mastering it, recognizing matter as force made tangible. You stop seeing the world as something to survive and start seeing it as something to shape.
Exactly. And the moment you stop identifying as the character and start identifying as the consciousness behind it, the entire storyline bends. The 3D illusion only feels like a prison when you believe you're the prisoner. Once you realize you're the dreamer, you can rewrite the script mid-scene. This is what the ancient mystics, metaphysicians, and even modern quantum theorists have all been trying to say in different ways. The observer isn't inside the universe is inside the observer. When you change your internal assumptions, the outer scene reorganizes automatically. That's not superstition, that's mechanics. Consciousness is creation. 3D reality is its shadow. So how do you actually wake up from the 3D illusion? You stop treating appearances as truth. Everything you see, your finances, your relationships, your body and environment, is old data. It's the echo of thoughts that you used to believe. The problem is, most people try to change that echo. They argue with it, they fight it, they cry over it, and they wonder why nothing new ever appears. You can't update your reality while worshiping what's already expired. You change reality by shifting the assumption that created it. Neville Goddard called this living in the end. He said, you must feel the wish fulfilled. Why? Because when you enter that state, where you feel yourself as the person who already has the thing, consciousness takes it as fact. It doesn't argue, it simply reflects it into form. So awakening isn't about learning new information. It's about remembering your creative authority. And when you realize that you're not the effect of the world, but the cause, the 3D illusion starts to dissolve.
And yet, here's where most people get tripped up. They awaken intellectually, but not emotionally. They understand they create reality, but they still react like victims of it. They know the theory, but they haven't embodied the knowing. The embodiment happens when you stop letting external evidence dictate your state. When the bill arrives, you don't collapse back into scarcity. When the delay happens, you don't default to frustration. You stay anchored in your new identity, the one who already knows it's done. That's how you exit the 3D feedback loop. You stop feeding it attention. You stop letting circumstances train your consciousness. You realize that what looks like delay is just reality reconfiguring to your new frequency. And that's where trust comes in. Not blind faith, but intelligent awareness. The 3D illusion wants you to believe you're powerless because it feeds on attention. It survives by convincing you that the outer world has authority. But once you withdraw that belief, it stops.
Exactly. The system collapses the moment that you stop playing by its rules. Scarcity, hierarchy, competition. Those are constructs of the 3D consciousness. They only exist for the one who still believes in separation. When you awaken, you stop playing the scarcity game entirely. You don't compete, you create. You don't chase, you magnetize. You don't force, you assume. And here's the paradox. When you live this way, you start to appear lucky to everyone that's still stuck in the 3D. They'll say everything just works for you, not realizing it's because you're creating and operating from a higher law. The law of consciousness supersedes the law of matter. The cause and effect sequence of 3D collapses when you remember that the cause is internal. So the goal isn't to escape the world, it's to transcend how you see it. The 3D illusion doesn't vanish, it obeys you. You move from reacting to commanding.
And that's what it means to become the conscious creator. You start living from the inside out. You realize that imagination isn't fantasy, it's your creative power source. And when you imagine with conviction, you're not daydreaming, you're blueprinting. The 3D world is simply catching up to what's already true in higher dimensions of consciousness. It's delayed reflection, not resistance. That's why your imagination is sacred. It's the portal out of limitation. Every image you persist in, whether of abundance, peace, or power, becomes your next experience. That's not metaphysical theory. It's the architecture of creation itself. Once you awaken to who you really are, the question becomes, how do I live this truth every day? And the answer is simple. You stay conscious. The 3D world will still move. It will still offer distractions, stories, headlines, and people who insist that reality is hard and life is random. But your power lies in remembering that none of that defines you unless you agree to it. You no longer live on autopilot, you live by deliberate awareness. When you catch yourself reacting, pause and remember The reaction is the residue of your old identity. You don't need to fight it, you just need to stop fueling it. Every time you choose presence over panic, creation over complaint, you collapse an old timeline and strengthen a new one. You start walking as the awakened one, not above the world, but within it, consciously. You still pay bills, you still drive cars, you have conversations, but now you do it knowing that reality is responding to you, not the other way around. And that's the real transcendence. Not escaping 3D, but mastering it through consciousness.
And from that place, life stops being survival and becomes artistry. You move through the world not as someone trying to make things happen, but as someone watching their inner world unfold externally. Your imagination becomes your paintbrush, and reality becomes your canvas. The key is consistency. Awakening isn't a one-time event, it's a continuous remembering. Every moment you return to awareness, you reclaim authorship of your reality. That's why spiritual practice isn't about discipline or perfection, it's about alignment. You can meditate, visualize, or simply sit in silence, but the goal is always the same, to remember that you are the source. Everything flows from that knowing. And when you act from that state, not to get something, but because it's who you are, the results are effortless. You'll notice synchronicities increase, opportunities align, and people appear at the exact moment that you need them. It's not luck, it's law.
Exactly. The universe is responsive, not random. Once you stop begging it to cooperate and start directing it through consciousness, you'll realize it was never against you. It was waiting for your instruction. That's what awakening really means. Shifting from reaction to creation, from victim to author, from 3D illusion to multidimensional awareness. You become the living embodiment of divine intelligence expressing through form. So stop shrinking into the illusion of smallness. You are not a fragment of reality. You are reality, aware of itself. That's the ultimate awakening. To look at your world and see your own reflection shining back. And when you do, gratitude becomes your default frequency. Not because life is suddenly perfect, but because you see perfection in motion. Consciousness sculpting experience, moment by moment.
So here's the invitation. Stop reacting to the 3D world like it's your master. Sand is the consciousness that commands it. Every thought, every assumption, every word is creative. Use them like tools, not weapons. If you want to change your world, change your self-concept. If you want to transcend time, stop waiting. If you want to see miracles, assume you're normal. That's the consciousness of the awakened creator. That's the mindset that bends reality. You don't need permission to create. You are creation. So step out of the illusion, see the game for what it is, and start playing as the one who wrote the rules. Because you didn't come here to survive 3D, you came here to master it.
If today's talk helped you see the 3D world in a new light, if it reminded you that you are consciousness creating it all, then keep that awareness alive. Take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss when we drop new insights on awakening, manifestation, and reality creation. And if you know someone who's still trapped in the illusion, share this talk with them. It might be the spark that wakes them up. But until next time, think differently, dream boldly, and create consciously.
I'm a quiet rebel, I don't need a shower.